Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
And I'm Ricky.
And I'm Yoda. And I'm Tavi.
And today we are reviewing 10 Days in the National Parks. From the OP. 10 Days in the National Parks is the follow-up to 10 Days in the USA. Technically, this is an entire large series full of other games. 10 Days in the USA was a reprint. 10 Days in the National Parks, I believe, is the first time that they're doing this particular one. But with that said, we're going to have Ricky teach you how to play the game, and then we'll tell you all of our thoughts. Ricky, you want to teach people how to play?
So, in 10 Days in the National Parks, or any 10 days game really, you are trying to create an itinerary, a path from one place to another that takes 10 days. So, there are cards for every location, like this one, which is all the way down here, or this one, which is all the way up there. You are trying to buy drawing cards from these three piles and this top pile and reorganizing the ones in your display to create a path. So let's say this is my starting card. This is right here. So that means that I can go either here or here. So I will try to get these cards. But if I can't get those cards, then I have three more options. I can either take this card, a car, which is considered a wild. It can be any area that is directly adjacent, which means it can take me from here to here. It cannot take me from here to here because they are not next to each other. Or I can take this. This is a plane. This can take me from here to anywhere that is the same color. It can take me here, or all the way over here, but it cannot take me here. And then the last one we have is the boats. The boats have two different types, one for the Pacific Ocean and one for the Atlantic Ocean. I can go from anywhere in the Pacific, on the edge, it has to be touching water, to anywhere else in the Pacific that is touching water.
Yeah. Throughout that, you're trying to create this journey of 10 days. So you're basically trying to gather cards and create a chain that ultimately ends up with you having a 10-day viable journey. A few more small things. First of all, in this particular version of the game, certain key locations have 2 cards. Wherever you see a ×2, that means that location has 2 cards in the deck, making it slightly more likely to pop up. Additionally, the way you're going to be gathering your cards is you start with a pre-game draft, that's specific to this version, where you take cards one at a time, putting them into any of the 10 spots in your board as you fill out your initial board, and then from there, you're either, like Ricky said, taking from the top of the deck or from a discard pile, and then replacing a card in your tableau, in your itinerary, until you eventually are a player who has created that 10-day journey. At that point, someone wins, and if you want, have fun and play for 2nd, 3rd, 4th place, all of that. Yes, Yoda?
Did you explain to them about how, this works?
Yes, Ricky did.
About how it works with, flipping over and stuff?
Yeah, Ricky covered them. Yep.
You cannot flip it over while it is in your hand. You need to put it on the discard pile. Then when you put it back, you have to flip it over. That's the only time you can.
Yes, that's actually one of the game rules. If you, by any chance, let's say you have Yellowstone in your display, and then right next to it, and then 2 away from it, you have... And then let's say right next to it you have the Rocky Mountain. You need the Rocky Mountain to be 2 away from it. You cannot just switch the cards. You have to take the Rocky Mountain out, hope that no one takes it or covers it up with another card, and then put it back in your thing in another round.
Now with that, we are going to dive into our thoughts on the game. If you've watched our 10 Days in the USA review, you know that Ricky and I both like 10 Days quite a bit, but we have 2 more children joining us today, which means we're going to be getting thoughts from them, as well as our thoughts on how the games differ and what we like more or less. So to that end...
I have my thoughts.
You want to go first? Go for it. Tell us your thoughts on 10 Days in the National Parks.
I have a question, actually.
Tell me
At the end of the video, can we each name our favorite national park?
Go for it.
Sure.
But in the meantime, what do you think about 10 Days in National Parks?
It's just a slightly harder version of 10 Days in the USA.
And do you like it?
Better.
Well, do you like the game series in general? They don't even know. The people watching don't know.
Yap-a-doodle.
How much do you like it?
Enough that I'll play it on a Sunday.
Enough that I'll play it on a Sunday. And why do you like it? What is it about the game that you think you enjoy?
There's more cards. There is a big thing over there.
Okay. Yep.
And I won with that, first place.
Yeah. Yoda, what about you?
I think I like the game more than the regular one
10 Days in the
because
USA. Yep.
it has the names of the places are better. There's more spaces in this zone.
Yep.
Like
And,
Tavi said.
Then the part I don't like about it is that how there's Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. That they're two different spots.
Like
you
in
wish
real life?
You wish it had been one ocean as far as the game's concerned?
Yeah.
And they had lied?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you could just call it boats. You don't have to separate by oceans.
Yeah, I would rather have one boat than two boats. And it's much more fun than 10 Days in the USA because you have more of a challenge. There's more than like big spot. There's more big spots, so it makes it more of a challenge to play.
Go ahead, Tavi.
It wasn't more of a challenge for Ricky because on the first game, when she got the cards, she needed two more, and one of them were in the discard pile.
She did win like
I won the first 3 games, and then I won another one, and then I won another one, 2 games after that.
She won in 2 turns in the first game.
Not 2 turns.
Yeah.
It's
it was so sad.
Ricky, your thoughts on the game?
For us, not
I
her.
personally loved this one, and I prefer it over 10 Days in the USA for a bunch of different reasons. Reason one is that there's so many more locations. Like, in 10 Days in the USA, there are clearly 50 locations, 1 per state. But in this one, there's so many locations, and some of them have multiples, so you also have that extra chance. And then, like, in the original 10 Days that I played, Alaska and Hawaii were so annoying to get to because you had to use a plane to get there and a plane to get back. But within this one, you can actually spend several turns there, or you have another option of the boats to move around.
Yes, Tavi.
There are 2 of like Yellowstone, New River Gorge,
Yep.
Great Smoky Mountains, but you are not allowed to go Great Smoky Mountains to Great Smoky Mountains, or Great Smoky Mountains car or plane,
Well, that you could.
or a boat.
Basically, whenever you
To
have
Great
2
Smoky
of the
Mountains.
exact same, you can't. Whenever you have the exact same card, you can't have it as part of the exact same. You have to go to another park first.
Which is why when I did Grand Canyon, White Sands, then I can't remember, but I went back to Grand Canyon at some point.
Ricky, you were saying?
And then aside from that, I also enjoy the theme. It's very different. Because all the other places, I don't know what all of them are, but it's like 10 Days in Europe, 10
Days in
it's
Asia,
all
10 Days in
straight
Africa.
up cities
Yeah.
and places.
Continents, countries.
This is so different. And I also really like the setup. Because in 10 days, in the USA one, you are just handed 10 cards and you stick them out in your thing, and that's your starting thing. But in this one, you're going around and individually placing it. So you have so much more control over it. And that's making me very excited for the day I get a perfect game and have everything set up from the beginning.
No way.
Oh,
It'll
it'll
happen.
be fun. It could
It'll
happen.
happen.
It could
It's
happen.
very rare for that to happen.
It's going
Hasn't
to.
happened yet.
Not yet. We
love
haven't
it.
had that yet.
And I'd love it if that happened, but with 2 people. Then Ricky would be like, I won, but then someone else won too.
Ooh, that would be fun.
That would be very confusing.
So overall, as far as my thoughts
They
go,
need to make a rule for that though.
as far as my thoughts go, I like 10 Days in the USA a lot. I think 10 Days in National Parks is a better version of it. And I already like 10 Days in the USA. But first of all, the theme is definitely a little fresh to us because we've had 10 Days in the USA for a while. 10 Days in National Parks is fresher and newer in that sense. But outside of that, like Ricky and honestly all of them have covered, this gives you more locations, which is more of a challenge, but also gives you more tools between the boats and the initial setup that you have a lot more flexibility to be able to accomplish your goals. So it just feels like there's more ways this one plays out, which results in a more fun overall experience, as well as the setup factor does make it more variable and a fun little degree of control over how things go. So I think it's just a solid improvement over the original. Yes, Yoda.
So I don't know which one. I mostly like this one better than is the National Parks, but I can't really decide on which one is my favorite because I only started playing on Friday.
Yeah.
I started 10 Days
Yeah.
in the USA on Friday.
We've been playing this series
over-
for a long time. These two have only just discovered the series a few days ago.
No, I didn't.
He discovered it a few months ago.
Never mind. They are
months
different,
ago.
different points in time, but more recently, and then just started diving into it. But they've all been
But
diving into it
then
a
we
lot.
dived into this one, so I can't tell. I'm not. I don't know which one I like better since I only played both
That's
of them
fair.
an equal amount.
We dived
So,
into this one.
I
but
say you should get both of them.
As far as ratings go, so now you
I
two
say
guys,
something?
go ahead.
we dived into this one, but without a boat, you cannot dive into that ocean.
As far as ratings go, these two have never rated before, so they don't know the series over here. So we're going to start off, Ricky and I will rate the game, and then from there, they can add their ratings. Ricky, what is this for you out of 5?
I'm going to give it the same rating I gave 10 Days in the USA, which is a 5 out of 5. And should I also give my final thoughts for this?
Sure.
So my final thoughts on this new game in the 10 Days series. It has a very fun, fresh take on all the old games that also makes it a bit more complex. And the other ones might be too, but I don't know because they're all out of print. So we have no access to them, sadly. But
Well, we'll just have to ask the op to reprint them all.
We'll get it
Yeah.
there. But this game adds so many more little ways you can go that you will find yourself going around here quite a lot, considering there's about double the amount over here. And something I forgot to mention before is that I actually find it really fun, the knowledge from this, because if you live in the U.S., then you know the U.S. states. If you live in Europe, you probably know a bunch of cities over there. But this one, I have never heard of a lot of these places. Obviously, I've heard of Yellowstone, but so many of these were new, and it's really cool to find out just how many parks there are.
Cool. For me, I'm going to be coming in at a 4.5 out of 5. I gave the original one a 4. I think this takes it up a notch as far as what the game does, and it's just so playable. This is just an easy game. For context, I think we played it 10 plus times in the first 24 hours we got this copy. It's one of those games that's easy to just dive in again and again, and it's a lot of fun to do so. So a 4.5 out of 5 from me. Yoda, go ahead.
What?
What's your rating for the game?
I'm gonna rate this a 4 out of 5 since I haven't played it that much. I only played it 2 or 3 times. So I'm gonna
You've played it more than that. Go ahead.
You played
2 or 3
it
times
7.
slowly.
Okay.
Not, but still, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. I haven't played it for that much. Well,
Yeah.
still a bit much, but not that much. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
All right. Tavi, how about you?
I give it a 4.5. It would have been a 5, but they have no rule for 2 people winning from the beginning.
That's so unlikely.
Honestly,
My advice: just roll a die, or do rock paper scissors, or
The last
Me?
person who went to a
first.
national park should
if
win.
2 people win in the first draw, I think you both are winners.
I think it should
I
be
know,
whoever
but
went to
how
a
would
national
you
park last.
decide?
Lastly,
decide
as far as
who won first.
our favorite parks, as Tavi wanted us to do, for myself, my favorite one is going to be Hot Springs because of the giant swathe
Yes.
of other areas you have access to. If you get
I
Hot
love
Springs, you have such a wide degree of
with
control over
Canyonlands.
spreading out on the map.
Same as Canyonlands.
What about you, Tavi? What's your favorite place?
The Death Valley.
Death Valley, is that because of the name?
No, but it's also because you could boil an egg on a rock.
That's true. Yoda, how about you? What's your favorite place?
I gotta say, I can't give a reason to it, but my favorite's Channel Islands. Mostly because of how much of a draw it has to all the boats.
Nice. And Ricky?
I'm going to have to say a Wind Cave, and that's just because the artwork on the card was so pretty. But other than that, Canyonlands, for the same reason as this one, and there's just so many more.
Yeah, there's a lot of those. Honestly, the Great Basin as well is pretty solid at that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that is basically it. That is your review of 10 Days in the National Parks. Definitely go ahead and check out this game. I find it incredibly satisfying to play both with family, gateway gamers, as well as I'm not averse to pulling this out at game night. It's just an easy game to play. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co.
I'm Ricky.
And I'm Yoda Radcliffe.
I'm Tavi.
And until next time, I hope you have a good one.